Thank you, Troy. Hey, my apologies, everyone. I know you've been waiting. Business meeting went a little long, but if you would, let's go ahead and call to order. And please rise and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, turning to the county attorney. Counselor, do we have certification of the agenda?
You do, sir. The county attorney's office reviewed all items on the agenda. Proper notice has been made where necessary. Otherwise, all matters are under your jurisdiction.
Thank you, Counselor. Do the commissioners have any disclosures for items on this agenda?
I have none, thank you.
I have none.
Nor do I. Let's go right into it. Item 2, land use meeting is agenda item. Castle Oak 16th Amendment replat. Project file is SB 2018-051. Carolyn Washi Freeland for staff.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. Carolyn Washi Freeland, representing Planning Services. The project before you today is Castle Oak 16th Amendment replat request, project number SB 2018-051. The property is owned by Mark and Sandra Schenecker, with Kevin Archer here as the applicant's representative. Brad Jackson with Engineering Services is also in attendance. The applicant's request is replat to subdivide Castle Oaks Lot 4, Block 5 into 4 residential lots. The intent of the subdivision resolution, Article 7, is to provide a review process for the replatting of an existing subdivision plat or superblock final plat. The replat process begins with the submittal of an application following a review period by referral agencies and the public. There is a public meeting before the Board of County Commissioners. In this case, the applicant submitted the initial replat request in 2018. The project was sent out on referral, and courtesy notices were sent to abutting property owners. Referral comments were received at that time, and one comment was received from the abutting property owner to the south with regards to the location of the new lots. In 2020, the project was placed on hold by the applicant, and in 2023, the applicant chose to move forward with replat request. A new round of referrals and courtesy notifications were sent to us out a second time due to the amount of time since the initial submittal in 2018. The project area is shown here by the red star, is located in the east central portion of the county, approximately 2.5 miles east of I-25 and less than 1 mile from State Highway 86 in the vicinity of Castle Rock. The replat area outlined in red is located in the Castle Rock Municipal Planning Area, unincorporated boundary of the Douglas County 2040 Comprehensive Master Plan. The property is zoned rural residential. The project area is outlined in red. There is an existing home and accessory structures on the site. The property is located adjacent to Rocky View Road and is served by individual well and septic systems. The Castle Oak subdivision was approved in 1972 for 68 residential lots. Since that time, there have been multiple replats with the subdivision. Additionally, some of the lots have been annexed into the town of Castle Rock. Within the remaining portion of the county subdivision, there is sufficient acreage to allow for the creation of additional lots through the replat process. Here is the replat exhibit showing the 4 single-family residential lots, which will range in size from 3.6 acres to 7 acres. Lots will take access via 2 shared driveways connecting to Rocky View Road. All lots will be served by individual well and septic systems. Building envelopes are established on lots 4A, 4B, and 4D to avoid drainage areas and to provide increased separation between the proposed Lot 4D and the existing lot to the south. This is a site view This is a site view looking west from Rocky View Road to the entrance to Lot 4. Various native vegetation, shrubs, and trees are present on the site. This view is looking north from the property line, a ridge line. Sorry, I got behind here on my slides.
No problem.
Okay, here we go. This view is looking north from the property line. A ridge runs east-west within the lot, creating 4 drainage basins. There are no site constraints or 100-year floodplain zones present that would preclude future development of the proposed subdivision. This view is looking southward from inside of Lot 4. The Castle Oaks First Amendment, lots 3B and 3C, can be seen from this view. These are the approval standards for replat, which are discussed in detail in the staff report. Staff has evaluated the replat request in accordance with Article 7 of the Douglas County Subdivision Resolution. Should the board find that the approval standards for the replat are met, the following 6 proposed conditions shall be considered for inclusion in the motion. Condition number 1, prior to recordation of the replat, the applicant shall provide payment in the amount of $1,500 to the Douglas County School District for cash in lieu of school land dedication for the 3 lots. Condition number 2, prior to recordation of the replat, the applicant shall provide payment in the amount of $750 to Douglas County for parks, cash in lieu fees for the 3 new lots. Condition number 3, during construction activity within the development, the applicant, its successors, and assigns shall take reasonable care to watch for historic resources, paleontological resources, and other cultural history resources, and shall immediately notify Douglas County in the event of such discovery. Condition number 4, prior to or concurrent with the replat recordation, a declaration of restrictive covenants reserving water in all Denver Basin aquifers shall be recorded. Condition number 5, prior to recordation of the final plat, technical corrections to the plat exhibit shall be made to the satisfaction of Douglas County. Condition number 6, all commitments and promises made by the applicant to or the applicant's representative during the public meeting and or agreed to in writing and included in the public record have been relied upon by the Board of County Commissioners in approving the application. Therefore, such approval is conditioned upon the applicant's full satisfaction of all such commitments and promises. Section 706.06 of the subdivision resolution sets forth the parameters for the board's determination on replat requests as noted on this slide. This concludes staff's presentation, and I'm available to take questions on the staff report. Otherwise, Kevin Archer is available to answer any questions you may have.
Thank you, Carolyn. Questions for staff?
That was a great presentation, Carolyn. I have no questions.
Again, great presentation. I have no questions.
Carolyn, can you please go back to, I think it's conditions, show me 1 and 2 again, please?
Okay. See if I can get this back up.
Okay, thank you very much. I don't think I have any other questions for you. Thank you, ma'am. Does the applicant have a presentation or any comments they'd like to provide?
Yes, good afternoon, Commissioners. Kevin Archer with Dave Archer and Associates, ARCHER, 105 Wilcox, Castle Rock. Just a short presentation. I want to thank staff for all their help through the years. As Carolyn mentioned, this started in 2018, and it's taken a little while to get through. As part of that, I went through 2 referral processes, and we were able to address all the comments with no additional issues. And lastly, we agree to the conditions presented. And with that, I'll make myself available for any questions, and the owner, Mark Steneker, is here as well to answer any questions. So,
All right, any questions from the board for the applicant?
I have none.
It seems to me there was one concern, I think, from maybe some neighbors named Snyder. Did you work through those, or am I confused?
no, we worked through those. During the first referral period, they had some comments, and during the second referral period, they had no comments.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so thank you, Commissioners. And Kevin, you said you accepted all conditions on behalf of your client?
Yes.
I just wanted to make sure your client saw conditions number 1 and 2. You guys do understand, a little different than usual, where you guys are going to be responsible for those fees as soon as the plating is done? Okay. Just wanted to make sure. Kevin volunteered you, but just wanted to make sure. Okay. Well, then don't let me get in your way. Let's see if we can get this approved. All right. With questions to applicant and staff, at this time, I'd like to open it up for public comment on this matter. Is there any members of the public that would like to come forward and make comment on this application? And seeing none in the room. Troy, do we have anybody online that would like to make comment on this application?
Thank you, Commissioner. I have no online comment.
Okay. Bringing it back to the board. How would the board like to proceed?
I have a motion to approve Castle Oaks 16th Amendment replat because it does meet all of the approval criteria with 6 conditions as presented. File number SB 2018-051.
And I'll second that, and the applicant did approve those conditions. Yeah.
Okay. We do have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
And the 16th Amendment replat is approved. Congratulations, guys. Thank you. Moving to the public hearing portion of our agenda, our first item for public hearing is 374 Inverness Plan Development, and it's a rezoning. Mike Pasica, presenting for staff.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. Mike Pasica, representing Planning Services, and the request before you is the 374 Inverness Plan Development Rezoning, project number ZR 2023-012. The application is a request to rezone approximately 10 acres of land from light industrial to planned development within the Inverness Business Park. Specifically, there is one planning area of 10 acres that covers the entire site. The rezone from light industrial to planned development would allow for up to 325 multifamily units and office and light industrial uses. The PD also proposes to establish a parking ratio specific to the multifamily units of 1.5 spaces per unit. If parked per the Douglas County zoning resolution, the required parking spaces would be 681. If the PD is approved, the parking ratio would be 488 for the multifamily use. The intent of the process is to encourage innovative and creative design and to facilitate a mix of use in the development of a balanced community, including residential, business, commercial, recreational, open, and other selected secondary uses in accordance with state statute. A PD rezoning begins with submittal of an application, following a review period by referral agencies and the public. Notice is given for public hearings before the Planning Commission and Board of County Commissioners. Staff did not receive comments from any abutting landowners or members of the public. Inverness Water and Sanitation District has provided a will serve letter for the site, and South Metro Fire had no objections to the proposal and will provide fire service to the development. The Planning Commission heard the proposal at a public hearing on February 25th, 2024, and recommended approval of the request by a vote of 6-2 with one condition. The Planning Commission asked clarifying questions regarding the applicant's traffic study and compatibility with adjacent land uses. The two commissioners voting against the application stated that it was not in character with the surrounding development. Take a look at some maps. This is the vicinity map. The property is highlighted in red in the far northern portion of Douglas County. The zoning map, again, the subject site is highlighted in red. It's currently zoned light industrial and is within the Inverness Business Park. It's located generally south of the intersection of Inverness Parkway and South Valley Highway. Properties adjacent to the site are zoned light industrial, except for planned development zoning to the south, which was approved in June of 2023 for a mix of residential, office, and light industrial uses. And the aerial map, again, the property outlined in red. The parcel has borders office uses to the north, a medical office use and residential to the south, a portion of John Derry Park to the east, and office uses to the west. A little bit of background. The final plat for Inverness Filing 7 was approved by the Board of County Commissioners in 1982, and subsequent replats have been approved to modify property lines. The property contains the buildings and improvements of the former Colorado Athletic Club, which was constructed in 1983 and closed in late summer of 2023. This is an aerial pictometry of the parcel with the PD boundary in red, showing the existing improvements. The adjacent offices and commercial uses are visible to the top and left in the photo. The pond and ball fields of John Derry Park are visible to the right in this photo. And to the bottom of the photo is the reunion at Inverness PD, where 35 townhomes are planned to be developed. This is page from the PD exhibit that's included with your staff report. The PD in north is up on this page. The PD proposal retains many of the existing light industrial uses while adding multifamily residence as a principal use. Up to 325 dwelling units are proposed for the site for an overall density of 32.5 dwelling units per acre. 2 points of access are proposed with this development. Both are full movement access points to Inverness Parkway. The applicant submitted a traffic letter that was reviewed and accepted by Public Works Engineering. A few highlights of the PD commitments. There'll be no park or school land will be dedicated. Cash in lieu of dedication shall be determined at either plat or SIP application and paid prior to plat recordation or SIP approval. And again, water and sewer is proposed to be provided by the Inverness Water and Sanitation District. Quickly run through some pictures. This is in the site looking to the east at the existing athletic club facilities. This is a view from the same location looking south through the parking lot. This is a view to the north at the existing office building. This is standing on Inverness Parkway looking south. This view is to the west. Kind of in the back middle of the picture here is the elevation apartment complex that was approved about 10 years ago. This is looking south at the recently constructed rehabilitation hospital. And in the foreground of the picture, right in this area, is where the townhomes are proposed to be developed. And this is looking to the east towards John Derry Park. I do want to point out in the left center of the photo here is the Palmer apartment complex that was approved about 6 or 7 years ago. The approval standards for a PD rezoning are set forth in Section 15 and listed on this slide. Approval standards are discussed in detail within the staff report. Staff has evaluated the plan development rezoning request in accordance with Section 15 of the zoning resolution. The application proposes a mixed-use plan development in the Inverness Business Park. Should the board find that the approval criteria for a plan development rezoning application are met, the following conditions should be considered for inclusion in its approval. Condition number 1, prior to recordation, all minor technical corrections shall be made to the plan development document to the satisfaction of Douglas County. Condition number 2, all commitments and promises made by the applicant or the applicant's representative during the public hearing and/or agreed to in writing and included in the public record have been relied upon by the Board of County Commissioners in approving the application. Therefore, such approval is conditioned upon the applicant's full satisfaction of such commitments and promises. Section 1509.09 sets forth the parameters for the board's recommendation for a PD rezoning request as shown on this slide. And this concludes staff presentation. I can take questions at this time. Otherwise, the applicant is here with a presentation this afternoon.
Okay, questions from the board to Mike.
I'll reserve my comments following the applicant's presentation.
Commissioner?
I'll ask my questions to the applicant. Thank you.
Yeah, I don't think I have any questions for you, Mike. That was a good presentation. Happy to invite the applicant up to make a presentation.
All right. Good afternoon. I'm Kelly Dranginis with Holland Partner Group. Our address is 600 South Cherry Street, Suite 700, Denver, Colorado. And here with me today is our architect, John Payne of Studio PBA, and he'll be speaking in a few minutes. Okay. Hang on. Right. So who is Holland Partner Group? We're a fully integrated real estate investment company. Founded in 2001, Holland has invested in development and redevelopment along the West Coast and Denver metro area. In Denver, MSA, we've developed or repositioned over 7,000 units since 2014. And being a vertically integrated company, we have development, construction, and property management all within our one umbrella. So we stay involved in the project from inception to a fully stabilized operating asset. We're focused on delivering high-quality Class A rental communities in desirable locations close to employment, transit, and recreational activities. Okay. So a little bit of background on the site. Our site's the former Colorado Athletic Club that closed down this past summer. Since COVID, the club saw declining membership activity and wasn't able to continue operating. We've been in long-term discussions with the property ownership group about redeveloping the site into an active and compatible use for the neighborhood and the Inverness Business Park with transit-accessible housing for employees. We've been working on this application for over a year now, and we had our pre-application meeting with Douglas County in February of last year. Since then, we've performed significant neighborhood, property owner, and community outreach, and we've received positive feedback along the way. Okay, so our team has sought to go above and beyond with respect to community outreach throughout the process to ensure we provide information and opportunity for community stakeholders to learn more and engage with our project. Going back over a year, we met with the Inverness Metro District and members of their Design Review Committee members, or IPAC. We then started meeting and working with planning staff and other officials in the county before submitting our application. We've worked with stakeholders in the area, such as Denver South and the Inverness Metro District, to help spread the word of our project. We held an elective community open house meeting in the early fall of last year at the adjacent John Derry Park and mailed a fact sheet and meeting notice to over 133 surrounding property owners and tenants. Since that time, we have kept an open door and received positive reception to the project moving forward and rezoning. Lastly, of course, we perform the required public notices for this hearing and our preceding Planning Commission hearing. All right, so here's a map of the surrounding area and the uses by product type. As you can see, there's a healthy mix of residential and office, and these two uses complement each other, activating the area outside of Business Park while making it a more local community with access to jobs right adjacent to the project. The site is also adjacent to John Derry Park, as previously mentioned, and with all existing trail connections to the park and open spaces, this will provide an exceptional walkable outdoor recreational amenity for future residents. There are open fields, baseball diamonds, outdoor volleyball, and basketball courts. By creating a mixed-use development in this neighborhood of Inverness near shopping, entertainment, employment, it protects rural areas of the county from this type of development and driving that density into the more urban areas of the county. I'll now hand it over to John Payne, our architect with Studio PBA, to go over Douglas County's 2040 land use map and to discuss our compliance. All right.
Thank you, Kelly. Good afternoon, Commissioners. My name is John Payne with Studio PBA. We're the architect for the project. Our office is located at 1575 Gilpin Street, Denver, Colorado. In our first slide, we have the Douglas County Comprehensive Master Plan future land use map located here. This has our site located at the very north end of the county, just on the central northern portion of the screen here. The area has been identified as a primary urban area by the county and is attempting to direct more urban style projects to this area. This is compatible with the adjacent land uses such as office, commercial, parks, and recreation areas and other multifamily. The site is located in an area that has existing capacity and infrastructure for residential and promotes higher density uses in the area with plenty of employment and commercial nearby. In the Douglas County Comprehensive Master Plan, we, along with the county, are ensuring that we meet the objectives as they've been laid out in the plan. You can see a lot of the objectives here. I won't go through all of them, but just to touch on a few here, we are, for instance, under the general urban land use, we're directing urban level development to designated urban areas. As I just mentioned, it's a primary urban area, and we're trying to concentrate a more urban level development into this area. We're creating opportunities for residents to access transportation and community services. By locating this proximate to an RTD station, we're able to help the community become a more walkable community for that area. And we're encouraging urban development in areas with existing and planned capacity. We'll touch on this a little bit later, but we've received will serve letters from several entities saying that they do have capacity for this project. In further areas of consistency with the 2040 CMP, we have several areas here that are noted in bold. So under Section 5, Community Resources, we are encouraging new developments to be contiguous to existing development and infrastructure. And under Section 6, Transportation, using land use planning to reduce travel by automobile and improve access to community resources. Both of these sections are met by our approximate location to both RTD, to employment areas in the area, to recreation uses. These are all lead to a more walkable community within the area. Under Section 7, Water Supply, we're encouraging development to obtain service from existing water providers. We've worked with the Inverness Water and Sanitation District to ensure that they have capacity for this site. And under Section 8, Environmental Quality, encouraging development patterns that reduce dependence on the automobile for work, shopping, and other trips. By our approximate location to RTD, we are hoping to reduce dependence on automobiles for trips that people live in the area for. And finally, our site plan has been matched against the county's rezoning approval standards by both us and the county. Going through each of these point by point and understanding how our site matches these approval standards. For instance, Section 1, the compatibility with the Douglas County comp plan, we've just been through multiple iterations of that exemplify how we meet the CMP. In Section 5, we recognize that by placing multifamily near transit, we're lessening impacts to roadway capacity, hoping to create a more walkable community. In Section 7, compatibility, by placing residential in a mixed-use area with existing services and other housing, this project's a great addition to surrounding businesses. For instance, we heard from the local rehab hospital next to us during our community meeting, indicating that having housing for employees of the hospital would be very beneficial. And finally, Section 3, there has been a substantial change in the character of this neighborhood since the land was last zoned. There have been multiple multifamily projects throughout this area and creating a much different community than it was when it was initially zoned. With that, I will turn it back over to Kelly to finish off the slides here.
All right, we've referenced the will serve letters a couple times here, so here they are, will serve letters from the district and the fees in lieu that we are planning to pay in conjunction with this project. Next, we just wanted to take a moment to run through the referral agency recommendations, so comments on how we meet them. So Arapahoe County Public Airport Authority, we received a letter from them in October with 3 primary comments. First, that an navigation easement is required. Second, they recommend completing a sound study. And third, that an FAA form may be required. So how we meet those, an navigation easement, we already have an navigation easement in place recorded at the property, and an airport disclosure will be included as part of the standard lease agreement. Sound study and attenuation, we've completed a sound study and we're given a comprehensive report on the STC ratings required to have an interior noise attenuation at or below 45. And then the FAA form, we're aware of both the state and federal requirements and will comply before starting construction. The Douglas County Health Department notified us that asbestos testing is required. We have already engaged with an environmental consultant to test for and identify possibility of asbestos. Our consultant will engage with our general contractor, demolition subcontractor, and Douglas County to appropriately remediate and demolish the existing building. The Douglas County School District let us know that they would prefer fee in lieu rather than a land dedication, and we intend to pay that fee in lieu. The Douglas County Parks and Trails let us know that we have to meet the park dedication standards outlined in Article 10, and we acknowledge that and will comply with those standards as well. Finally, we wanted to take a moment to discuss the parking study that we submitted as part of our application, requesting the 1.5 parking spaces per unit ratio. So we surveyed surrounding properties in the county and found that our request is in line or slightly above the average spaces per unit provided at these other properties. Beyond that, and more importantly, Holland Partner Group has owned and operated many garden-style projects within the Denver MSA over the past 10 years and found that the parking ratio of 1.0 per bedroom has been very successful, and that's what we intend to build at this property. So thank you for your time this afternoon, and let what questions can I answer?
All right, questions for the applicant?
I don't have any great presentation, and I know we've heard iterations of this multiple times in the past, and, there's that legal concept that we always hear about of waste when property is left unattended, and I think this is certainly a valuable asset to our community from my view of reinvesting and then creating an amenity that perhaps may better serve our citizens. So thank you for that.
Thank you.
Okay.
I think that the airport called this a transit-oriented community in their letter, and I think that really is what this is all about. So thank you for bringing this kind of development to Douglas County. It looks like you're going to have 5 buildings, some 2-story, some 4-story. Is that correct?
The site plan that we submitted as part of our PD zoning has 3 4-story split product and 4-story product. Ultimately, the site plan will be finalized and decided on as we work through the site improvement plan process with the county.
But are you intending to scrape every building that's on that property right now?
Correct, yes.
There is substantial parking there. Will you redo all that parking as well?
Correct, yes.
Okay. And those were my questions. Thank you.
Great presentation. Question for you. You have 2 conditions as outlined by staff. Do you accept them?
Yep.
All right. Well, in that case, that's my questions. Let's go ahead and open this up to public comment. Is there anyone who would like to make public comment on this application for rezoning? Seeing none in the room. Troy, do we have anybody online who wishes to speak in public comment on this rezoning request?
Thank you, sir. I have no online comment.
Okay, let's bring it back to the board. I'll just start off by saying this looks great by me. We have people who are very critical of growth here in Douglas County, and yet every time I present them with an example of additional residential development in this area, nobody cares. As a matter of fact, they think it's great. This is where they would like to see multifamily go in anyhow, and so I think it is consistent with the will of the people of Douglas County. And then, of course, Commissioner, you mentioned transit-oriented community. You have no idea how much we're talking with the governor about transit-oriented communities and what the governor would like to foist on the people of Colorado, and yet here you are providing a market solution, which is kind of how we like it here in Douglas County. Any comments from the board that they'd like to make, or how would the board like to proceed?
I'll just indicate that transit-oriented is the first line in the first paragraph of the letter from the airport. So they did point out that they didn't talk about air transportation in the letter, but anyway, I'm ready for a motion.
Very good.
Well, I sit on that airport authority, and, it's really important to have that transit-oriented development, and I appreciate that the abrogation easement was already integrated into the, the concept. So did we hear from the applicant that they accepted 2 conditions?
That is correct. The applicant did accept the 2 conditions.
Okay, so then with that, I will make a motion to approve 374 Inverness Plan Development rezoning because it does meet all of the approval criteria with the 2 conditions as presented. Project file ZR 2023-012.
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All right, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, and the rezoning is approved. Congratulations. Moving on, we do next have actually, I'm just a little shocked that we didn't have the Popular Liberation Front for pickleball coming in on that one, but good to see. All right. They go to the other location. Very good. I'm glad that was all planned. I love it when a plan comes together. We do have a proposed zoning amendment to fencing and outdoor storage standards. Marco Higman. You're not Marco. You look like Lauren.
It's me today, Lauren Pulver, Commissioners.
Lauren, please proceed when you are ready. All good?
Good afternoon, Commissioners. I am Lauren Pulver, representing Planning Resources. The request is a proposed zoning amendment to fencing and outdoor storage standards. The project file number is DR 2023-004. The request involves proposed changes to the Douglas County zoning resolution that will impact 13 sections. This impacts areas of the county that are primarily non-residential zones and for non-residential uses. Per zoning resolution section 109.05, the board shall evaluate the proposed amendment, referral comments, staff report, the planning commission recommendation, and public testimony, and shall approve with modifications, table for further study, remand to the planning commission, or deny the amendment proposal. Amendments to the county zoning and subdivision resolutions are either initiated by the staff or by the Board of County Commissioners. The amendment is prepared by staff and forwarded to the referral agencies for comment. Referral requests are also sent to the county's contact list. Staff further analyzes the request and addresses any issues identified through the referral period. At a board work session following the referral period, referral comments and the revised regulations are presented to the board, and the board approves moving forward with public hearings. Following published public notice, the request is considered by the Planning Commission at a public hearing. Following the Planning Commission, the request is heard before the Board of County Commissioners. The Planning Commission hearing was held on March 18th. No public comments were received. The Planning Commission voted 6-0 to recommend approval. The Planning Commission had questions related to formatting changes in the red lines. A recent court ruling involving Douglas County's outdoor storage standards has prompted a review of these standards in primarily non-residential and mixed-zone districts. Following direction from the board and in collaboration with the county attorney's office, staff has proposed amendments to fencing and outdoor storage standards with the following changes: to update and revise related definitions and references, delete obsolete references, and provide technical corrections, and to clarify standards and how they apply to development review processes, use by special review, plan exhibits, and site improvement plans. The referral period ran from December 7th, 2023 to January 11th, 2024. The public workshop was held on January 16th, 2024, with an attendee from Toll Brothers and Burning Tree Ranch HOA. All responsive contacts and referral agencies provided no comment. During the referral period and at the public workshop, there were questions asked for further clarification and to understand how the proposed changes may impact residential areas of the county. Staff explained that these proposed changes primarily impact non-residential zone districts and non-residential uses. There were no further comments or concerns from those involved in the public workshop or referral period. This amendment clarifies fencing and outdoor storage standards and how they will apply to development review processes. It also provides updates, revisions, and deletions of obsolete references. The board may approve with modifications, remand to the Planning Commission, or deny. This concludes my presentation on the proposed zoning amendments, and I'm available for any questions.
Thank you, Lauren. Questions for Lauren?
I have none.
And I have none either.
I have none either. Thank you, Lauren, very much. Let's move to public comment. Is there anyone who would like to come forward and make public comment on this amendment to the Douglas County zoning resolution sections? None is seen. Troy, do we have anyone online who would like to make public comment on this amendment to our zoning resolution?
Thank you, Commissioner. I have no online comment.
Okay, thank you, Troy. Well, obviously, we heard from Lauren that there was a judicial review that caused us to consider this. And then, of course, guys, don't forget, we did hear from the business community in speaking out for the need to make these changes that staff has prepared for us today. At this time, how would the board like to proceed?
I have a motion to approve a resolution adopting amendments to Douglas County's zoning resolution sections 11, 12, 13, 14, 14A, 14B, 14C, 14D, 21, 27, 27A, 28, and 36. Project file number DR 2023-004.
Second?
There's a motion and a second. I think this is great, guys. I'm glad we're adopting this. I think we're going to clear up a lot of confusion in our business community. And quite frankly, I see this as critical to moving forward with our strategic plans for commercial development, areas that are already zoned commercial, but to get them to a higher and better use than they currently are in the 85 corridor. So there is a motion, a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. And the amendments to our zoning resolution are approved. All right, thanks, Lauren, appreciate it. Moving on to our next item. We have a resolution supplementing the 2024 adopted budget for the County of Douglas, Colorado. Kim Hirsch, Assistant Budget Director, presenting.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. It is my pleasure to formally present the first supplemental for fiscal year 2024. The total amount of the request for your consideration today is $18,702,024. This first supplemental will be reappropriating restricted, committed, and assigned fund balances in various funds for purchase orders that were encumbered in the prior year but not fulfilled. Each year, the budget team works very closely with each department prior to the year end to close POs that are no longer needed, thus eliminating unnecessary reappropriations into the subsequent fiscal year. We watch very closely how long the POs have been opened and highly encourage the departments to close those that are older than 1 year. However, for some projects, purchase orders are open for longer periods of time, thus you will occasionally see a few covering 2 to 3 fiscal years. I have provided all of the details of the open purchase orders in the board's packet, along with the departmental explanation for those POs that have been carried forward for more than the 1 year I just spoke about. In addition, detailed fund summaries for each fund that are impacted with this request have also been included in the agenda packet. This supplemental request is governed by Statute 29-1-109 that allows for the Board of County Commissioners to make revised appropriation resolutions that will reflect the increase in the expenditures for your consideration at this time. With today's supplemental approval, the new amended budget for Douglas County will be $690,512,762. If you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer them at this time.
All right, well, we always make Kim wait until last to go before us on a public hearing, but any questions for Kim?
Thank you, Kim, for your great work on this. I don't have any questions.
So Kim, this supplemental is coming forward because these are POs. So these are things that we've already approved and the work isn't completed, so there's still money in the purchase orders. Is that correct?
Correct. That's basically it. We just need to carry the unused portion of those purchase orders into the current fiscal year.
Is there another supplemental step that you will be bringing to us soon, and if so, what is that one?
You will see a total of 4 to 5 from me this year. The next one is the unencumbered roll that we'll present or try to present here in April that will carry over some balances in some of the larger projects that aren't on a purchase order. It's kind of the difference of what was appropriated last year, unspent, not on a purchase order. We'll carry those forward.
So could example of that be some ARPA money that we have talked about how we want to spend, but we haven't approved a contract for it yet?
Yes.
Okay.
Everything rolls into the fund balance at the year end. Then we make judgments of what to pull back out of that fund balance and appropriate it for spending authority in the current year.
So there's lots of moving parts, and you're the head conductor on all of those?
Yes.
Okay. I read through all of this. It made a lot of sense. I don't have any questions other than what I just asked you, so thank you, Kim.
Thank you.
Yep, in going through it, it all looked appropriate. I mean, it's projects that we've either seen on consent calendar items, or it's larger projects that we know we're tracking, so.
Most definitely.
I really don't have any questions for you, Kim. I appreciate all your hard work on this one to keep us straight.
Thank you.
All right, at this time, I'd like to invite any member of the public forward to make a public comment on this budget supplement. And seeing none in the room, Troy, do we have anybody online who would like to make comment on this agenda item?
Thank you, sir. I have no online comment.
All right, thank you, Troy. Well, it looks like everything's in order. I think we should do this. How would the board like to handle this?
Mr. Chair, if there's no further discussion, I will make a motion to approve a resolution supplementing the 2024 adopted budget for the County of Douglas, Colorado to appropriate restricted, committed, and assigned fund balances in the amount of $18,702,024 for the reappropriation of prior year purchase orders.
Second.
All right, motion and second. Any discussion desired? All right. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. And the budget supplement is approved. Thank you,
Thank
Kim.
you.
All right, folks, that wraps up our land use and public hearing. Our next land use and public hearing will be held on Tuesday, April 9th, 2024, and we hope to start at 2:30 p.m. Thank you all very much. We are adjourned.